Okay, hi guys, J-Man here. So, what? Apparently Trump just launched a new war overnight. I'm not sure what this is about. I don't, I don't think Trump would do this unnecessarily, and I don't know what's going on here. So, I'm wondering what Benny has to say. I'm wondering if this is just clickbait for, uh, engagement or whatever, because, a lot of YouTubers like to do this. We That's pretty much the hustle. Clickbait titles, clickbait thumbnails, things of that nature. But still, this is I'm not sure if I can give this too much charity, but let's see what Betty has to say. Okay, let's see what Betty has to say. Let's hope that we don't have any boots on the ground. That's all I'm hoping for. Dude, Betty's openings just go so hard. It's always, always so memeable. They come for the land, not a matter of if, but a matter of when. We are living in a world we will never see again. Seriously, some of this is so awesome, but let's see what Ben has to say. And yeah, this is his most recent video.
At this point, America is just showing off and trying to scare the hell out of anybody who would stand against us. You got to consider that 2026 is the year that will change all of our lives for better.
Yeah, we needed to scare people to remind them who is top dog in the world, okay? We need to remind them that they are just here because we aren't their enemies. Okay, that's what a lot of people need to realize. Yeah, yeah, it's true. We do need to be friendly with people. It's true. However, we also need to remind them that if you're chanting death to America, you are not our enemy. Or you are not our ally, I should say. You are not our... That's a gaffe that's staying in. You are not our ally if you are chanting death to America.
Or worse? I don't really know, man. I'm just saying that it's going to change, and that everything's going to change. They've used directed energy weapons on a battlefield now. They're saying, yo, we can just, like, for 50 cents a pop, blow your munitions out of the sky. That's what you're seeing here. The first use of an iron beam. I mean, I think that they've been used, actually, frankly, in other scenarios, but this is the first battlefield use of laser weapons by our government or allied governments. It's wild. Why is the American War Department releasing submarine footage, periscope footage?
The war is basically us saying, nah, you don't get to strike us. We're always gonna strike. It's basically, you activate my trap card! Oh man, they have built themselves up with a massive amount of attack points to try to go for a one-turn kill. But instead, we have Magic Cylinder on the field, and we are activating the Magic Cylinder right when they attack, and that monster has no protection against traps. Oh man, it's glorious. It's glorious.
Of sinking warships with torpedoes. They're sending a message to people. This is the message. The message is, sometimes you just kind of have to flex and prove how scary you are. You have to bloody someone's nose. American submarine sunk an Iranian warship for the first time since World War II. A torpedo was used to sink a warship.
Iranian warship.
You can see it here. Listen
in the Indian Ocean. And we'll play it on the screen there. An American submarine sunk an Iranian warship.
Ooh.
That fought.
Oh, that is amazing. Hats off to our troops. Hats off to our troops. And by us paying so much attention to Iran, we are making sure that China and Russia lose a foothold in the West. And by the way, I like that China and Russia were just saying, "Yeah, we've got you morally, but we have our own issues to focus on." Basically, just saying, "Son, you're on your own." Iran is cooked, dude. Iran is cooked. Russia and China, they're not going to do squat. Oh my gosh, they. Oh. Seriously, with Russia and China as allies, who needs enemies? Am I right?
Thought it was safe in international waters. Instead, it was sunk by a torpedo. Quiet death. The first sinking of an enemy ship by a torpedo since World War II.
Right.
Like in that war, back when we were still the War Department, we are fighting to win.
Okay, so they're just flexing. This is why they're releasing footage like, look at this, Periscope footage. It looks...
Yeah, they're flexing, but it's also to let the retards in the back know that we don't really need to send boots on the ground. This isn't a war in the traditional sense, with the two sides fighting with the both sides losing casualties on the front lines. This is basically to say, no, we don't need to have a mass casualty war. We just need to have a war that we get in there, do what we want and need to do, and then get out. It's basically to showcase, no, we're not doing a war in a traditional sense where we're going to lose hundreds of men just to try to take down a terroristic regime. We're not going to do that. We're just trying to take out the... We're trying to take out the leaders without any civilian casualties.
It's like modern warfare gameplay. It's not. It's real, and it's a message. That's what all this is. It's like more of a prop. It's like every war. It's a propaganda war. Every war is a propaganda war, and this is a propaganda war for American strength. I'm okay with it, right? Like, meaning I want people to be fearful of America. I want American empire. This is what the Greenland play is. This is what.
Yeah, come on. 51st state, let's go. We're going to get a 51st state regardless of after this during this presidency term. It's going to be someone, okay? Someone is going to join as the 51st state. Come on, Trump. Let's name the 51st state Gay Dakota. Oh man, I'm horrible. I'm horrible. But yeah, I do believe this isn't just a propaganda war. I think this is actually a war to try to bring about America's best interests, pretty much. So, Betty, I sort of I think your wording is a little off. I don't trust the term propaganda as a way to justify this. Yeah, it can be used for propaganda. That's true. Every war can be used for propaganda, but I don't think we're in a propaganda war. I think we're actually in a war to try to lessen our enemy's foothold here in the West.
Taking over Canada is what the Mexico play is. Father, tell Hegseth to let a submarine.
Yeah, every country below America is Mexico. I'm sorry. And Canada is just no Mexico. Oh my gosh. I've been watching too much Nugs. Can you tell?
Sink a ship. Gamers will love that. They do love that from posting the clip. The entire operation is in order to project strength, because everyone's wondering on the block whether it's China next, whether it's Russia, who can just have...
Yeah, we're not going to strike Russia or China. I don't think we're going to do either of those things. For one, they could just launch nukes pretty quickly. So I don't think we're going to actually strike Russia or China. We're not going to try to use our advanced might to take out their leadership or anything. I think what we're gonna do is just uh, make sure they lose funding pretty much. Because that is the whole play with the Iran stuff, with the fentanyl stuff, with the Venezuela. We're trying to lessen their influence here in the West. That's the whole point of this war. I don't think we're going to get to see uh, actual attacks on China or Russia, because again, they have nukes. It would be disastrous if either of those countries tried to launch nukes at us. So I think it would be best just to take our W's and not push it too much further. Because we do need to keep everyone in check. And we were even being put in check by foreign governments to make sure we don't nuke everyone.
Have their way, in Ukraine, whatever. Listen, I don't you won't be finding advocating for forever war or foreign wars. I don't want it. I think there's a lane where you can, where I can be humble and accept the fact that, my initial instinct on Nicolas Maduro, my initial instinct on some of the stuff that they've done in South America has been like, geez, man, chill. I don't want a humanitarian crisis in Venezuela, but the black bag of Maduro went great. Caroline Leavitt saying effectively, and this is just a month after.
Yeah, we captured an El Presidente, and now we have multiple deaths of supreme leaders. Oh, we are so back. We are so back. Okay, now do I want a forever war? Of course not. Of course not. But I am not going to be around just saying, how did we just attack these people unprovoked? We were being provoked to strike. Okay? They were chanting death to America. That is provoking us to strike, is it not? So we struck. We struck before they could strike. And now we have terrorist cells being activated within the U.S. And by the way, we are taking them out pretty quickly too. So, congrats, Iran. You're going to be liberated. We didn't want to be involved with the regime change, but we are. And no, we don't want a puppet. We don't think, and I definitely don't think Trump is a puppet for Israel. I really don't think so. Some people may disagree with me. Fine, whatever. But still, this is one of those times when I think that our involvement was necessary to prevent other 9/11 attacks from happening.
We blackbagged Maduro in the dark of night, and everything seemed okay. We lobbed a couple of heaters into the Hugo Chavez Memorial, right? Blew that up on our way out, and now blew up the head of the narco-terrorist cartel network in Mexico. Trump promised he would do this, and he's making good on his promises, and there's something to be said about that, frankly. El Mencho, remember? That was a weekend ago. One weekend.
Yeah, El Mencho was taken out by El Trumpo. No. And yeah, Mexico is somewhat destabilizing, but if you are propped up by illegal drug cartels or whatever, then yeah, your government needs to fall. It's sort of my stance also with the Epstein stuff. If the world is stabilized by pedophile networks and the human trafficking networks, then the world needs to be destabilized. Okay? It needs to be destabilized and restarted. That's it. That's my take on it. Now, the pedophiles in question, I do wish they would seek help and actually know that what they're doing is wrong and turn to Jesus Christ. But 9 times out of 10, they do not do that. They still see themselves as degenerates and will continue to be as such. And as such, throw them in the wood chipper. Okay, the unrepentant ones, throw them in the wood chipper. Because the wood chipper is completely neutral and will take all.
To go, we took out El Mencho. Caroline Levitt saying the United States provided key intelligence support in order to do that. This was a Trump U.S. military operation carried out by Mexican forces. Cartels are going to be purged. This is the Monroe Doctrine effect. The Monroe Doctrine is, of course, you should control your hemisphere. And that's what the Venezuela play is. I think it's what the Iran play is, quite frankly. I'll explain that in just a second. The Iran play is obviously to deprive and scare the literal hell out of Russia and China.
Yeah, just what I said. But I do think it's not just to scare Russia and China. It's also to deprive them. Because Iran was actually helping to fund Russia and China and sell them weapons. But by taking out Iran, we've effectively taken out their weapon supply. So until they play ball, until Iran starts a regime change and it's no longer a radical Islamic state, we will continue to take out their their future supreme rulers until they actually enact a regime change. And I think I am witnessing history in the making, and it is glorious. Now, is this possibly a false piece, biblically speaking? Probably not. I don't know. But either way, I think it is overall good.
Bring Russia back into the fold to prove America is a very, very strong partner that can do anything we want, and that we're just in control. We're in control of Europe. We're in control of the world. Trump's here to project that. Marco Rubio saying the old world order is dead, and he means it. U.S. military assists Ecuador in first land.
And Marco Rubio, I hate to disagree with him, but the old world order is still around. I hate to say it, but the only way the old world order gets toppled is if places like the UN, NATO, and the World Economic Forum start to topple. When they're all toppled, then the old world order is effectively done. And we can start to go back to more normal state. And we also need to start going after the people here in the U.S. I mean, we are arresting the 39 protesters from the city's church storming in Minneapolis, and I love that. I love seeing that because they infringed on First Amendment rights of those churchgoers. They interfered with the service. The pastor himself told them to leave. They refused. So no, I don't feel any sympathy for them getting dragged in court. Why am I not being merciful? Oh, I am being merciful. I'm not calling for their deaths. I'm calling them to repentance. This is mercy. Okay? The fact that I don't want them dead, but I want them to actually repent. That's mercy. And, yeah, I just think that that after we're done with the foreign influences, we should focus on the domestic influences. We need to focus on the media propaganda and everything. And hopefully we find stuff on people like George Soros. Because if George Soros is found to be guilty of paying protesters, then he's going to jail. Because that is influencing us. That is influencing domestic votes and things of that nature. So I think we are focusing on the foreign stuff first because we are trying to get rid of all foreign influence, but we're also trying to get rid of domestic influence once that's taken care of. It is America first, okay? It is America first. It's just we have so many fronts that we are doing the big stuff first. Because after all, China and Russia may have actually been paying people like Soros and BlackRock to influence American society. So I'm not. So I'm letting Trump cook. I'm not going to say Trump is in the wrong here.
And operation against cartels. So here we go again. U.S. military launching effectively cartel wars in Ecuador. Look at this. United States and Ecuador carried out a joint military operation against designated terrorist.
Ooh, going against Ecuador this time. Yep. I think it's true. I think we're getting rid of the people in our I think we're getting rid of the foreign influence in our hemisphere first. We're trying to get back American control of the U.S. and everything. So, yeah, I'd say we're actually doing a decent job so far.
Organizations in Ecuador. The U.S. role was limited in advising Ecuadorian troops, and they did not participate in the actual ground operation. A source familiar with the operation told ABC News. You can see here that there is narco-terrorism footage posted on X. U.S. Southern Command, Ecuador, and this is March 3rd. So yesterday, Ecuadorian and U.S. military forces launched an operation, designated terrorist organization in Ecuador. Operations are a powerful example of a commitment. Together, we took decisive action to confront narco-terrorists who have long inflicted terror violence in the hemisphere. So there it is. You can see here footage of a couple of military choppers.
Yeah, I would say that. I would say we are so back. We are so back. We are taking out the narco terrorists. And yeah, I fully agree with doing this. Getting rid of the drug epidemic. Because this is also preventing more George Floyd cases as well. Because, after all, George Floyd was a fentanyl addict. So getting rid of the fentanyl within our hemisphere would actually prevent more George Floyd cases. So it is sort of a mercy when you think about it that way.
Being used, extractions, operations, probably somewhat similar to what the Maduro operation would have looked like. There you go, and some the hype that it set to the hype edit music. I mean, there you go. U.S. military.
That music went hard, dude. That music went hard. We are so back. We are so back. And yeah, I do. The only people that disagree with what we're doing are the Europeans, and they're conquered. Okay, the UK's conquered. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. They are conquered by their illegal immigrants. And that's because they are so whipped that they decided, oh, no, we are good to everybody. We are good to everybody. No, they have people that don't even speak their language raping little girls. Yeah, I'm not going to filter myself from that. And whenever I hear people like Keir Starmer saying, basically saying they disavow what we're doing, I just say, take care of your own people first, you idiot. I know, harsh language, but it's true. He needs to take care of his own people before he figures at us. Because his whole country's burning while we're trying to make sure that our hemisphere is taken care of.
Military joins forces with Ecuador to take out domestic terrorist organizations. You're not safe, no matter where you are. You're not safe. Iran, Venezuela, Mexico, now Ecuador, U.S. forces operating on multiple fronts simultaneously. It's a flex. Trump is turning the world into a GTA 6 mission map at this point.
Oh, that's small potatoes. That's small potatoes. Oh, man. Oh, here's the thing. Iran wasn't even a player on the board. They were a pawn. Oh, man. Same with Ecuador. Same with Venezuela. They're not players on the board. They're just pawns. And we're taking out their pawns. Oh, man. But still, it's funny. It is funny. Oh, my gosh. We are getting back control of our hemisphere. And I love it.
Tracking the world's major cocaine route to Europe and why it's growing, it's directly through Ecuador. And so this is where the operation took place. Obviously, the president of Colombia is scared as hell, calling President Trump. And intervention in the Americas, intervention in the Middle East.
Oh, wait a minute. We're now having world leaders contact us that they have previously disavowed us. Oh my gosh. They're shaking in their boots. Or whatever Keir Starmer's wearing. I don't think he's wearing boots. I think he's wearing the really stupid fashion shoes or whatever. I don't know. I don't pay attention to fashion. I just think that Keir Starmer's probably wearing something very effeminate.
Yeah. Matt Gaetz saying this is better. I agree. Feels more natural. I really like the Venezuela play. Our troops are busy right now. Together we're taking decisive action to confront narco-terrorists. The operations are a powerful example of our commitment in Latin America. It's not holding back anymore. What is he planning next? Well, they kind of said so. The electrical system in Cuba has collapsed. National blackout. All thermoelectric plants and generators are out of the system. The dictatorship has issued no-fly zone for all airports. Cuba hit by electricity blackout. Oh boy, that's from today, by the way.
Oh, electricity blackout, huh? Very, very interesting. I wonder if we had something to do with that. I honestly don't know, but I wouldn't be too surprised if we just shut down their electricity. Okay, I wouldn't be too surprised. Because if we shut down their electricity, we make sure they can't do much. Especially if that electricity was going into the military.
Cause unknown. The cause is unknown. That's right. President Trump just seconds ago at the White House. Maybe Cuba's next.
Yeah, baby, Cuba's next. Ooh, he's definitely going after Cuba next.
They have no anything right now, but they're talking with us, and maybe we'll have a friendly takeover of Cuba. We could very well end up having a friendly takeover of Cuba.
What about the post?
After many, many years, we've had a lot of years of dealing with Cuba. I've been hearing about Cuba since I'm a little boy, but they're in big trouble, and we could very well, something good, I think very positive for the people that were expelled or worse from Cuba that live here.
I mean, Marco Rubio, obviously, family came here from Cuba. You have, you know, he's the Secretary of State. You have Lindsey Graham now on Fox News saying Cuba is going to get their asses handed to them. Lindsey Graham, Cuba is next. Their days are numbered.
Yeah, Cuba's not even a player on the board. They're just a pawn. All we're doing is taking back what's ours with the Cuba.
Maduro, the gold standard for Republicans, maybe any president, and when it comes to foreign policy. Maduro, everybody talked about him. Well, Donald Trump's got him in jail. Cuba's next. They're going to fall. This communist dictatorship in Cuba, their days are numbered. The Iranian regime, the mothership of international terrorism, is about to collapse.
Okay. Again, time will tell. Time will tell. You know, wisdom and its profundities are slow and are proven over the course of time. So these actions, though, seem immediate. More operations.
Yeah, I think that I genuinely think that we are going to see a lot of we are seeing some quote-unquote wars. However, I don't think the wars are going to even be wars in the traditional sense. I think it's just us pretty much taking out leaders that are hostile towards us and refuse to make deals. So that means that the Ayatollah, if the Iranian Islamic regime keeps on putting in more Ayatollahs, we're just going to keep assassinating more Ayatollahs until they're forced a regime change. For Cuba, we're probably going to keep on taking out leaders until they are done. Same with Ecuador. I don't know if any of them would actually stop, but we are only going to get to keep on going until we have our hemisphere secure and we have foreign influence out of our country. Now, some people will ask, but what about anime? Anime, we do actually influence anime, so I think that is actually alright. By foreign influence, I usually mean communist and anti-American influence. That's basically what I mean. If we can indulge in other cultures, I'm not saying we can't. We can indulge in Japanese culture with anime and all that. But I don't think that we should, I don't think we should allow the commies to take gold, okay? I really don't. But anyway, that's my take on it. I think that we are actually living it in one of the best times to be an American. I think American patriotism is gonna soar. And I think we are showing that our strength is not to be trifled with by our adversaries. And that is what we need. Now, whether or not we actually go to war with an actual superpower, I don't know. I hope not. Because that could actually spell out a nuclear winter or something. But overall, I do think we would actually see... we would actually be able to save our hemisphere from foreign influence so that we have a good old American patriotism back as the American standard. Anyways, that's it from me. I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you for watching. This has been me reacting to Benny Johnson. Link for this video down below. And I did tag him yesterday on Twitter, but he didn't respond or like or anything, so but again, thanks for watching. I'll talk to you guys in the next video later. Peace.